Okay guys, what's up today? I'm going to be talking about the changes made to the land ship as part of the December 13th Giant Shadow patch. This particular variant here, the squad support land ship, was changed the most, and I'll address these and discuss whether I think its viability is increased or not, as well as the changes associated to it. Going in, I just wanted to make a quick note. The mortar landship, although of course it's a different variant, it was added 2 new seats for LMGs, so it makes it more of a team-based vehicle, gives it some more viability. But this is the one I wanted to talk about the most, the squad support landship. If you haven't seen my previous video breaking it down, you can look at all 3 variants as I break them down. I might update it. This one for sure, for this variant, I will update and talk about today. And of course, it's still 5 seats. You still have the 2 LMGs now added toward the back. The second and third gunners are going to be very important because they get 57mm high explosive cannons and case cannon, which is like a canister shell. So they're your bread and butter. They're really going to help you against vehicles and infantry. And of course, this one here is different though. This is the big change. You, as the driver, get access to an HE autocannon. It gives you 15 rounds. Its splash damage is incredibly good against infantry, and it even does quite good damage against vehicles down the stretch. You should be wary against heavier vehicles like the heavy tank and such. And the rear firing LMG, of course, is associated with it too. But we'll go in, we'll have a look, I'll explain it. Oh, and actually, before I go in and explain it, track repair received a buff as well now. Instead of doing 15% damage recovery, it now gives 20%. And of course, it does its usual of giving you back mobility if someone took out a track. So it's advantageous for you to try and seek cover and recover before you go back into battle. Just a little buff there. I still think emergency repair is by far the superior of the 2 though. And of course, supply drop. Didn't receive any changes, but with 5 seats in here now, or it always had 5, I guess. With 5 seats, this is probably the best variant to take care of the dropping supplies with. Hopefully, if seat 4 or 5 will go out and repair you. If there's support, they help you out. Drop some supplies for them, help them replenish health if they're being shot at from afar. So we'll go in. Of course, we'll have a look at it here. And here's the big change. If you're in the driver's seat and you have access to this weapon, take a look at this. And then, of course, your rear LMGs. Someone's flanking you from behind. But this thing here absolutely decimates infantry, and it's actually quite good at dealing damage against vehicles as well. Less so on the heavy, but it gives you 15 rounds, and you can really do damage. It's nice. Of course, flipping over to the second and third seats, that's your high explosive round shell. That's your case one, actually. Case is the canister. That's better for infantry. That's your high explosive one right there. Seat 3 has the exact same thing. Seat 4, LMG. Seat 5, LMG. So that's basically it with regard to the individual components of the land ship now. But I wanted to briefly discuss the changes. And of course, the 20mm cannon changed it. That was added now. Instead of an LMG, it used to be only an LMG. And of course, the land ship itself, now all variants, now take the same amount of damage as the heavy tank, which is an incredible buff for this thing, considering that a lot of the time most people wouldn't choose the land ship, not only because they're restricted by how good and how well communicating you are with your teammates, but because it took less health. You could go with a light tank which has the least health, but the thing is, you'd be on your own, you don't have to rely on anyone, and the heavy tank had more health and more overall DPS output. If your teammates and you weren't on the same page, the heavy tank was by far the way to go. At least that was prior to this patch. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, track repairs on the land ship, in addition to giving you a disable repair, but that was in there previously, now gives 20% damage recovery instead of the previous 15. So it received a pretty decent buff, but like I said, still not as good as emergency repair overall for perks. Now, lastly, what I wanted to discuss quick is, what about the viability of it now? Is it really top-notch? Is it good? And I would say it's much better now, of course. The 20mm cannon is going to allow you to annihilate infantry, and it's actually much better if you have 2 good gunners with you using the high explosive round shells, and that in tandem, you can really take out vehicles. And of course, you can take out infantry yourself with the 20mm cannon. So its overall damage potential and viability, to me, exponentially increased. It's something, and the health, of course, too. It can take more damage. I'm much more inclined to choose this version of the tank, especially if I have two people I know that I'm going to be on comms with. But I have a little bit of hesitation recommending it to you if you're more of a solo player. If you have two people you know that, or even two people that hopefully, even if you can't talk to them over comms, if they know what they're doing in the tank, you're going to have fun with this. And I think it's just as viable as long as you sort of maintain a distance between heavier vehicles, dispatch enemies from further away. You're going to have lots of fun. You're going to have lots of success with these new changes. They've really buffed it. The issue, though, if you're a solo player, you run the odds of running into two people that have no idea what they're doing, and that would basically get you killed. So I guess that would still be my advice. As much as the variant changes are very beneficial to the squad support landship, my biggest concern is still teammates. If you have a crew that you're on comms and you're communicating with, you could annihilate a server with this thing. If you're not and you're relying on randomness of people that might shoot at random flying airplanes when people are trying to gun you down from assault on the ground, don't choose this. Maybe choose the heavy instead so you're in control. And of course, like I said, if you want to see further breakdowns of my of the tank variants, I have them in the tutorial sections of my playlists. Have a look at those, and of course, let me know your feedback on this video. Let me know if you agree, disagree, or you're going to be picking the landship all the time now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, share it if you feel someone would enjoy it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Have a good one, YouTube.